Welcome to episode number 7 of Tinkering the Future of Work and Life by Blue Ways Boutique. I'm Bertrand, and today I'm with my co-host, Érica.
Hi.
And Bernardo.
Hello.
We have a wonderful topic because it's episode number 007. And we will talk about all the tips and tricks you can use in your company and why James Bond really rocks and how you can get inspiration from James Bond.
Welcome to the Tinkering the Future of Work and Life, produced by Blue Waves Boutique, providing you with a fresh and positive look at the future of work by sharing little tips and magic tricks for your daily dose of confidence. Today I heard something.
Today I saw something.
Today I've tried something. Together we have learned. Like it?
Yes, but without a license to kill, please.
Yes, without the jumps and that.
Yes.
Oh, don't kill anyone in the company. It's not the solution. But actually, the company are your friends, not your enemies. So usually, James Bond doesn't kill friends.
Depends on you, how you see the people you work with.
Yeah, maybe if you see the people you work with or the other teams are the enemy organization, yeah, you may want to kill your enemies, but please don't do that. So, not a great idea.
No, at all.
So, where do we start? Do you have an idea? I was, of course, thinking because I love gadgets. I was thinking immediately James Bond, Aston Martin, the Omega Watch, and Q, and the gadgets. And finally, the gadget which helps James Bond in every complicated or challenging situation. Could be a good start, maybe.
So the innovation part, right?
Yeah, we can call it innovation part because what we call the Q department in James Bond is finally the innovation department.
Mm-hmm.
They are researching new things permanently.
New types of weapon, how to conceal them.
Yes, so the people who explode or strange pants, funny watches.
I think even after viewing all the James Bond movies, I think the Q department, in each movie, they upgraded themselves, they innovated themselves because of new enemies, new types of techniques. I think that's a good way to evolve and grow inside the company and as a company is to innovate.
It is. And you know what? They never stop. Because there's one episode in James Bond, on top of always innovating, reinventing themselves, they never stop working. Even when the headquarters of the MIT explodes in one episode of James Bond. So the most challenging situation compared to a company, you can see that as a difficult time for economy. When money gets challenging, getting budget for innovation gets challenging. They don't stop. The first department they moved is the Q department. So even in the most difficult and challenging times, they didn't forget innovation.
Yes, in a company you need always to innovate, to grow, but especially when the times are difficult, right? Like you said, without budget and everything, you need to innovate, the ways of working and everything, to know how you can do it.
It seems obvious for sure, but if we look at companies and the companies we are meeting, most companies, when the times starts to get difficult or the macroeconomics start to look bad, the first stuff companies cut is innovation, which is sad actually, because innovation is a great way to get out of a difficult situation. That's how it's used in James Bond. All the gadgets, the innovation which is created is intended for James Bond to get out of difficult situation. Being the weapons in the car, the watch, the pen, whatever you get. Innovation helps you get out from difficult situation. For companies, it's the same. Even in difficult times, you may need to reinvent yourself or find some tips, tricks to get out of a situation.
Yeah, it's a bit like life or death situation. James Bond uses the gadgets to get out of a tough situation or to solve a puzzle. Companies need to start doing the same. They need to, although the view of innovation inside companies is something that takes a lot of budget, there are some innovation strategies that can be way less expensive, let's say.
Sure, and James Bond is expensive.
Yes.
It is. Because James Bond is the movie. That's where maybe the two diverge a little bit, because in James Bond, all innovation is physical, it's material. In a company, it can sometimes be a little bit different in the form. Innovation can be also invented a new way of working or a new way of communicating. Innovation doesn't have to be a physical asset that you build, or it doesn't have to be a tool.
Yes, I was going to ask which type of gadgets people can use in the company, but yes, you make a good point. The communication is always a good gadget for you to innovate a little bit, yeah.
Because sometimes we use the word gadget as a little bit negative. Gadgets is something you buy, you throw away. But no, gadget is something you will use to do something. So it's a small intention of the gadget is a small piece of gear or a small piece of behavior or a small piece of communication that you will use to improve and to do things better.
I believe that people tend to associate innovation with be better than your competitor. And sometimes not even that. Sometimes it's just innovation inside of the team and inside of the company to be better, not against anyone.
It is. Actually, we know that for decades, and I think it's Deloitte who categorized innovation. And even if we are not huge fanboys of large consulting companies, they categorize innovation in many pieces, and innovation to fighting in competition is just one of them. But there is also innovation in operation, innovation in the way you communicate within the team, in the innovation in the way you organize yourself, innovation in the way you empower your employees, innovation in the way you teach people, in the way people grow in the company. There are a lot of types of innovation. Not all of them implies big budgets or big money. Not all of them take years, and not all of them are physical as well, as we said. So there is a lot. And doing innovation is not always fighting the competition, as you said.
No, and it's not always try to find the highest budget to buy something new or something like that. Sometimes you just change a little bit of things inside of the company, like the people who talk, like the team or something like that. And you can always innovate a little bit. Don't have to be like to 0 to 100% in one day, but you can change day by day.
Yeah, small steps.
And on top of that, it's not always flashy. I think, Érica, you are an expert of the Kano model.
Sure.
So maybe you can tell us a little bit more about the danger of always trying to do flashy things.
Yes, sometimes you don't do the best, you know. The companies tend to always create something new, to call the attention of new customers or to innovate the brand or something like that. Sometimes they forget to see what the customers really need or what the employees really need. Sometimes you don't need to change a lot. Sometimes you just need to continue what you're doing.
Sure. So
That is my opinion.
don't try to use innovation only to fight competitors, for sure.
No,
Exactly.
I think they need to use innovation to improve themselves as a company, as a team, and as an individual as well.
Just because we were in the middle of a fight, I was thinking about James Bond and back to James Bond and our James Bond episode. James Bond is fighting enemies, but a very specific type of enemies. Enemies that usually nobody sees. They are not obvious enemies. He doesn't fight against countries or he doesn't start war with enemy countries. He's always fighting hidden, invisible enemies like Spectre, which is the evil organization in James Bond. It's a secret organization. Same a little bit with companies. Sometimes they think, okay, we have to start a fight against the competitions that we were talking. Not always the case, maybe.
No, and sometimes people even believe that the enemy is the person you are sitting next to. You need to be better than the other. And most of the times it's not. Most of the times it's something that is inside of the company, like the motivation, the engagement of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, for example, loss of engagement is a hidden enemy which is way more harmful
Than the competition.
than competition or even your colleague. Supposedly your colleague is not your enemy. And your competitor finally is more inspiration to compete than your worst enemy. But loss of engagement is a terrible enemy in company. It's an enemy which gain more and more power nowadays, as we see in companies. It's more and more difficult to engage people. First, sure, the macroeconomics are not great. The economy doesn't do great, but it's not a reason not to engage people. Also, for the company, having an engaging vision is important, maybe.
Yes, of course. You need to engage your employees or your colleagues to work, right? If you see the work like just a task you have to do or something, well, you will get motivated in a minute, for sure.
It's a good way to lose the engagement of yourself as well.
Yeah, definitely. There is a quote which is very often used. When people say you can be your worst enemy as a person, it's true also for a company.
Mm-hmm.
A company can be their worst enemy as well. If you don't manage to engage your workforce, if you don't manage to engage your team, to empower your leaders, to encourage leadership as a behavior, not as a position, to encourage innovation, for example, then you start to become your worst enemy. Because nobody destroys you. You cannot blame the competition, you cannot blame the market. So
But you can blame your leader, yeah.
you can blame your leaders. Yes, and finally, it's something you have to fight first, maybe in the company, before paying attention to what is happening outside. Have a look what is happening inside. Are people happy to work? I like the quote of Richard Branson, who said employees go first, clients go second, and investors go third. There's a reason to that. It's not just advertising or PR. He seems to believe that when your employees are happy to be in the company, proud of what they're doing, proud of their job, they deliver a better service to the clients. So the clients are happy and the company grows. Finally, starting from inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, of course, without employees, you don't have a company, that's for sure, yeah. And without engagement, you don't have a lot to keep moving the company, because without engagement, you don't have communication, you don't have teams, you cannot work.
Maybe boredom is inside of the company because the lack of vision, because the lack of empowerment is one of the first enemy people should fight in a company.
Yeah. If you are an employee in your board, you don't do anything. You find ways to occupy the time without doing anything.
Sure. Maybe the other enemy, because sadly James Bond has only one, Spectre. It's lucky. The company has more than that, many enemies. And the inability to adapt is one of the worst enemies for a company. Staying stuck in the past, struggling to change.
Or refusing to change.
Can be a terrible enemy. We saw company disappearing like that. Not to take once again the example of Kodak, but everyone in the 80s, the 70s had a Kodachrome. It was the leading camera. They were leading the world. They were ruling the world. They were owning more patents than any other company in the world. And they just disappeared.
Yes, it's sad, but if you just refuse to move forward, if you don't innovate, if you don't engage your employees and everything like we already talked about it, well, that companies will not, you can, but for sure will not stay for a long time. The door's open.
And it can disappear faster than you think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you have a Nokia mobile phone?
Yes.
Where's Nokia?
Good question.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Somewhere hidden in...
Under a rock.
I still have the phone.
Yeah, you still have the phone. But the company is somewhere inside Microsoft doing whatever they do, but nobody knows. And they were the leading company for mobile phones.
Yeah.
Just they were in a way where they couldn't adapt anymore. At least they couldn't fight the iPhone when it went out. And they disappeared.
Not only that, but maybe taking too long to adapt as well. Not only not adapting, but taking too long is as well a problem.
It's a big problem of the large companies.
Yeah. Because the world is always changing every second, every minute, every hour. If they take too long, they miss the train.
Yeah, large companies are powerful, but they struggle a little bit to adapt. Just like if you have an elephant trying to catch a rabbit.
And I think it's the same thing about innovation. If you take too long to innovate as well, everyone, even your team or your coworker or the competition, has innovated way more and you're still trying to innovate.
Well, but at least you're trying, no?
Yes, you're trying.
Already good.
Particularly in Europe, we tend to think a lot. We tend to think a lot before we do something. We tend to search for the greatest idea. And very often, we lose at the innovation and adaptability game against America or Asia. It's not that we are stupid and they are clever, or they are genius and we are normal. It's just two different approaches.
They are faster to acting.
While we are looking for the best solution,
They are trying, continuously trying.
they are trying 100 solutions.
Yeah. And the one that works?
Yeah, 99 of them fail, but the number 100 succeed.
Well, we have a fear of failure, so we try until we succeed, but in a very long period of time.
That's why maybe James Bond always wins. because he never gives up. Or maybe not. Maybe there are some other recipes.
There are some people behind James Bond that help them.
Yeah, that's also important, yeah. Don't try to do everything alone or to be the innovator alone
You cannot. You are in the company.
or to fight the enemy alone. James Bond is not alone. He's got M.
Yes,
M is-
Q.
M is more than a boss. Finally, she's a friend. She's a very trusted friend.
Very honest. She always tells when he's doing something wrong.
Yeah.
So that can be your leader.
Yeah, because where does James Bond go when he's really in trouble and fired from the MI6?
M.
To M.
Always.
Always go back. It's a trusted friend. Q, always supportive, inventing new stuff, providing James Bond with new stuff to get out from trouble.
It's a colleague who motivates you to work.
Yeah, it's your crazy colleague always inventing something new.
Yes.
But you need them.
Sometimes inventing something you think, he's never going to use it. Well, he does.
Also, trusted friends that you can always count on. James Bond has Felix.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere in the world, there is Felix, and Felix always does some stuff for James Bond. And the James Bond girls, because they are not just there for deco. Usually, they help him a lot. They are a great support. It's not just decoration. Despite what people said in the 70s, not only decoration.
No. And in the companies, it's not different people in different times. It's always the same person.
Yeah, but
Hopefully.
we hope, yeah. But the point is that you have a support group. You have your leader and you have your colleagues or friends at work.
Yeah,
So you can
and
move.
it's why doesn't your team?
Mm-hmm.
That's a very important point. If we take James Bond as an example, sure, he's working at MI6, he's got the colleagues, he's got M&Q, but he's got also friends, people not from the MIT, from the other agencies. So you can have friends in a way broader networks than, for example, just your colleagues. And it's the same for the company.
Exactly. And even if you are not the James Bond, you are not the face of your team, more or less. Everyone has an important role to play here. So
Everyone is a James Bond finally at the time being.
Somebody can be Q or M or even a Bond girl or boy.
Yeah.
Not everyone has to be the James Bond in the history. They can always play the supporting role, but that's the key word is supporting.
And even if in the movie James Bond is a person, James Bond is also in the company a role you can take for a while and leave it when you're done. And the next day you can be Q, as you said. After you're M,
exactly.
works as well. But James Bond has another magic trick, I think, which is very important. And nowadays it's often forgotten or struggles to work well in companies.
Operations.
Operations.
The way the company runs, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a tricky situation. For some companies, not all.
Yeah, but it's very difficult because new ways of working come in with massive remote work, which implies another type of operation finally. Because having people working not only from home, but anywhere, working globally, different times, different places, it requires super smooth, super efficient operation. And that's what a lot of companies are lacking of. James Bond operations are always perfect. He lands somewhere in a plane, he goes to the hotel, everything is waiting for him. It's the right taxi or the wrong one with the enemies, but it's the right taxi, the room in the hotel is ready, and he's got the gadgets there, and he's got the suit, he's got the clothes. Everything is ready there for him to be as efficient as possible. And everything is built for him to succeed.
Yeah, but that's the key. In the company, not everything is made for you to succeed. For the company, yes. For the brand, yes. But even there, not very well-oiled machine.
No.
But it's possible.
It's maybe just a point of view when they design it. You should never design operations for your company. You should design operation to serve the people who are inside the company.
Exactly.
Because who does the job? The company doesn't do any job. The company is a structure.
Yes.
The company doesn't do a job. People do the job. If you want them to be efficient, design operation for them.
Exactly. Give them all the tools for them to succeed in their tasks, and the company succeeds.
Of course. Imagine James Bond wears suits. You make a suit and you design the suit for the hanger in the closet instead of James Bond. Does it work?
No,
Definitely not.
no, that's no. It's like you said, they should build operation for the people, not for the company. Yeah.
And once they do, they need to always improve and improve. Otherwise, they will lose engagement.
Yes, they part of innovation as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, it's the whole story of James Bond. From the first James Bond with Sean Connery to the last episode, it always evolved. It's not always the same stuff because people would get bored.
Exactly.
Just because James Bond as a movie improves always as well. The story improves, aspect of the characters, gadgets, everything inside is improved. So they improve as a character, but it improves also as a movie. It changes, is adapt, because the world is moving.
Mhm.
And it's always the same. Of course, when you're in a company, you hope that you design something and you can leave it there, stay like that, and it works for 10 years. Sadly, it will never be the case because the world around is moving. People are changing, the world is changing, the economics changing. If you build goods, the materials are changing, usage are changing, everything is changing.
But that's the good part. You can always improve. You can always learn something new. You can always put yourself to be motivated as well to learn something new, to do something new. Because like you said, the world is always changing. So don't see it like a negative thing, but as a positive one.
Yeah, it's an opportunity to grow, to adapt to the outside world.
Yeah. Yes. The problem is if you want to be done, you will be frustrated all the time.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
that's true.
if you are curious, if you want to learn, if you want to continue to invent, you will be happy because you will never be done. Whatever your company is, you will have to reinvent yourself. You will have to change. People will change inside. You will have to change the way you manage the company, the way you organize the team. And when people talk about companies transformation, because finally it's our business, stupid bullshit.
Okay.
Because companies transform themselves from the day they are created to the day they stop to exist. It's perpetual evolution in the company. Business transformation is everyday business. And when they have to run millions company transformation, it's just because they stop improving for a while. If you never stop, you don't have to do a transformation because transformation is part of your everyday job.
Yeah, it
Yes.
keeps happening.
Yeah, that's true. It's like change, yeah.
So even if it's a little bit bullshit, we will still have work because everyone will continue to stop thinking that they have to change every day. Actually, at least it's a goal, it's a target that people should follow. Try to improve a bit every day, to fix what doesn't work every day. Try to make it better every day.
To complete the mission.
And even if for, I don't know, something, the company realizes that they need always to improve, you need also to give support to the people who work there. Because it's not easy as an individual to work, to apply for one job and always changing day after day or changing the things you do. It's not easy for the mind as well. So even if they stop doing the transformation because somehow they learn that they need every day to do that, for the individual it's very difficult.
Maybe for them it's very difficult to live in an ever-moving environment because what we say is the right to learn and the tolerance to fail. If people expect from you that you always succeed, you are very uncomfortable in an ever-moving environment.
Mhm.
Exactly.
If you have room for making mistakes or learning or improving or suggesting new things, and if it's explicit, if you have support for that, you are maybe way more comfortable in a moving environment.
Not only from others, it's from you as well. Because since years, no, we are used to see our parents, our grandparents, always have one job for all the life, doing all the same, all the hours, everything the same. And nowadays, they are changing a little bit. You have to change a lot. To have the possibility, to give you the possibility to fail, I think is very low nowadays.
Yeah.
Even nowadays, if you keep your job for more than 3-4 years, people start to get worried you don't get a new job because people are concerned that you don't know, you are lazy. You don't do anything and you don't have ambition. What was perceived as very positive, you're a serious person invested in your company for decades, is now perceived negatively. Someone who is staying too long.
Means you don't have the skills or the vision to grow even further.
Yeah. It was a long story about James Bond.
Yeah.
A lot of things. So James Bond is finally a very interesting character.
Yes.
To wrap things up a little bit for our guests, so what can we keep from this episode?
Never be alone. Always have the right team and the right supporters by your side.
Yeah, it's a good one. So run yourself.
And for the company, like the innovation or upskilling is essentially a win for the employees.
Start fighting your hidden enemies first before you start fighting the obvious one and the competitors, because they are way more harmful. So that was our story about James Bond. For the audience, guys, we hope you liked it and you got something from that. If you don't know what we are talking about, rent a James Bond movie, choose the one you like. You will see what we talk about. And we see you in the next episode.
See ya.
Bye. Enjoy the movie.
Bye-bye. Still with us? We hope you enjoyed the episode and learned something valuable. We would love to hear from you and continue the discussion on Instagram at Blue Waves Boutique. You will find the link in the description. It was Tinkering the Future of Work and Life with Érica, Bernardo, and Bertrand.
See you next week for new amazing stories.